good evening, or good night. This is Julie with J of Cree Freedom, and the girls are home today from kindergarten, so you might hear some sounds in the background. And that's part of the reason we don't have the video today. It's a little bit doing craft time in the background. I want to give the Lord credit today and thank Him for blessing me with His words, and thank Him that those words are appointed this day over the nations and the kingdoms of the earth, to uproot and break down, to destroy and overthrow, to build and to plant. So today, got another longer rhema for the audience. It is clear it's for the audience. It's not always my choice to share some of the things that are in there, but He told me y'all need to kind of get an update and hear my story and hear what's going on, a little bit of what's going on. But before we do that, I'm going to share the rhema that I received, part of the rhema from yesterday, which was June 12th. And it really made sense to me. And I heard Elizabeth Marie talking, like when she receives a message, sometimes she gets a very clear idea of what the Lord means. And I also got that. So I could be receiving certain words, but at the same time, I could be understanding through the Spirit what else it could encompass, the message, I mean. So in this case, he was talking about how precious our bodies are to Him if we belong to Him. Yeah, I've spoken about that before. If the Lord loves us, then we're set apart in a way, and we are more precious to Him than His other creation. Yes, He loves everyone, but we're more precious. And then also like the earth, I got a vision of the earth as I was receiving this message. I could just perceive like it breaks the Lord's heart that His earth is sick at the moment and getting sicker. Jesus spoke how the earth would wear out like a garment, which if you think of a garment, it gets thinner and thinner and gets holes in it and rips and tears. It does make the Lord sad to see the things He's made not be functioning the way He meant for them to be. But that doesn't mean He's always going to fix it like bing, bang, boom. So, and in my case, I do have a thorn in the flesh. It's not going to be fixed, but He's letting me know about His compassion. And some of you may be having some problems, so I want to go ahead and share this word. It says something about my body, and that I am precious to I am, sweet woman, body fallen apart or no, dear one, you are precious, 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 sweet goods to me, dear one. Yes, dear one, und wie. It's how I view all my sick creations at this time, at this precarious humanity hour, dear ones, und wie. You are all so precious to me, dear ones, thorn in the flesh or no, signs of Asperger's, emotional abuse, whatever, dear ones. If you belong to me, sweethearts, me, myself, and I, the great I am that I am, loves you, dear ones. We love you, babes, my babes of the hour. We need your support in prayer at this time. Okay, sometimes He has double messages, so maybe He is asking some of you to pray there at the end. What He would be asking you to pray for. Obviously, you can ask the Lord to show you. I'm not going to be telling you what to pray for. This rhema is from last Friday, June 9th. There is a large portion for y'all. And also, this is just a general warning. He did speak to me of someone specific, but I'm not released to release their name. But it's someone online, and they're growing in popularity in the Christian community. And he just basically said that people that are on a roll tend to get a bit prideful on the Lord, and this is just a general warning to that person. He may cross my path and cross my videos, but anyways, if you happen to be in ministry and it's rolling and it's going well, it's just a general warning to watch the pride and be careful of the pride that can creep up and become a part of whatever you're doing. And then as a result, like if you're worried about that, if the Lord loves you, then He will slow down some of the gifts that you have. So if you are operating in pride and the gifts start slowing down, or you're not receiving as many dreams, or, whatever it is, that could be a sign that there is some pride operating in your life. Okay, so that's that. And of course, the same goes for me. So the Lord is speaking to me a little bit about being silent, including when people are really rude for no reason. So, and then Ecclesiastes, it says there's a time to speak and a time to be silent. if you take a longer, closer look at the Proverbs, it's really a give and take. And there's one proverb that I feel is the key to almost the whole book. It says one person looks at an item to sell and says it's of great value, and the other person looks at the same item and they have to purchase it and they say it's worthless. And so there's different views of almost anything we can do in this life. So of course I can ask for a stranger to be nicer to me, but is it wise? And we're coming into a dark humanity hour that basically the Lord's saying it's not always wise to try to fight for our rights. I know that flies in the face of American culture. No need, he says, they are awful people, but no matter, dear one. No need to call them out on it. And can we say, silly idea, dear one? He also had the word stupid next to silly. Silly or stupid idea. Silly, hun. It's the word I am chooses to use for my lovely, yes, hun. Used and abused saints, dear ones. Yes, you can share this, dear one. Love, my babes of the hour. Dudes, ladies, whatever you are, even if you are something in between, in your own silly eyes to think so, dear ones. Like my sparrow at times, the sexual hormone levels going through the roof for a woman, wise speaking. But whatever, dear ones, dear to I am ones, do you think the great I am thinks any less of you for your, in your view, physical so-called faults, dear one? But no, and rather, can we say, dear ones, F those mothers who gave birth to you, and then he has a side, it's like, F those mother effers, more like it, dear ones, who gave birth to you, dear ones, and set you up for failure, emotionally speaking, wise, leading into some terrible self-sabotaging tendencies in your lives. You're not the only one, dear one, who used to operate on such a massive scale of self-sabotage-like tendencies. So don't think that for 1 minute longer, dear one. Anyway, my dudes and dudettes of the worldwide Antichrist takeover happening and soon, dear ones. More like, as we speak, miteinander, dear ones. Through this warbling her little song, thinks she got taken advantage of by everyone, like some of you, dear ones, but wait for it, dear ones. Revenge, dear ones, in the next life for sure, as we watch, wait, and see who, count 'em who, will go for the real mark. Not a test run anymore, this go around, dear ones. So be careful, sweethearts, and easy does it, clinging on to jobs that lead to what, my dears, exactly you're longing for, dear ones? That's right, Hans. Money, more money, und wie? Do you really need all that Scheiße anymore to survive? An economic crash? Exactly, dear ones. You don't need that stinking job. You don't need no stinking job, watches, whatever that silly quote said. I forgot to look it up actually, but it says watches. We don't need no watches. I don't know. It's from some old movie. Back to the message. Yes, dear one, she had to look it up for y'all's judgy hate her wrongfully for these smaller than small errors in the yes, beautiful rhema messages still geschickt her way from time to time. Okay, more like all the time, dear ones, but don't get it twisted. And don't get jealous of her in error, dear ones, for this silly little filly has been asking me, I am ständig, privately, quietly, not so quiet in the spiritual realm, her cry to me, dear one, in this hour, is truly, if she could please, God, just let me die, God. One extra hop from a silly, tricks are for kids, dude, or Satan rather, dear ones. And here he winked. Hop from this rabbit man, taking a little too long for this little impatient at times filly, but truly. My dear saints, listening to her story today by proxy, dear ones. Patience, my loves, wanting to know all the details of her new love story, Hun, H-U-N. Don't be one to her in this respect. And as I am rather absolved her in the spiritual realm, emotionally speaking, of this marriage, dear ones. Done, my babes of the hour. This marriage is dead as a doornail, pretty much. Slivers of regard left from his side, dear ones. Doesn't exist, dear ones. And does she, and he her rather, just tolerate her presence in his life at this point, dear ones? Her non-slick A-word is wiping up, blowing up my bank account on the stupidest shiza. He means I was buying stuff for the stash. Now, really, Mad Felix, stupid shiza, for what does my word say, dear ones? What is true wealth of spirit in I am's eyes, dear ones? Exactly, my loves. Let's start with family, dear ones. These are perilous times for you, my loves. So if you have a good one, great. But if not, get the F out of their sick grasp, and soon, dear ones. For gasps, Huns, some of those mofos will be gasping for air, and soon, dear ones, in a show of what the actual F. I took the real mark of the beast. Oh my God, what have I done to myself? This go round, they will think. Exactly, Huns, dear ones. This is a flip things on the head scenario about to go off in real life, so don't go off on those losers in the spiritual realm, on V. And truly, my dears, for their perceived lack of, more like it, selfish, so the sentence perceived lack of compassion, and then more like it, selfish, Okay, so he's talking about a perceived lack of compassion, and then back to the sentence. For their perceived lack of, more like it, selfish, I gotta have all this food and jobs for myself and my kids' sakes, tendencies, dear ones. No, can I say no? No bueno, my dudes and dudettes of the hour. Their attitude towards you and yours, demonic, dear ones. Your families are truly operating in the demonic, stingy as hell, like her family and parents, dear ones. And did she, or didn't she rather, hint to y'all in the memoir, her mom, silly Glinda, is rather arrived on her way, becoming millionaire status there, dear ones, und wie? And does she begrudgingly, does she or doesn't she, despise her stay-at-home mother, daughter, her low financial status, dear ones? Relationship at an all-time low, dear ones. For some truly stingy, and you can bet your sweet Bippy on that one, dear ones. Stingy tendencies from mom and dad, too. And ladies, my lovely ladies listening today, despite some terrible, awful, you need to turn that shiza off at times, dear ones. And I could perceive he meant social media and TV right there on that sentence, and not just that, but like specifically showing other really sexy women or sporty or looking really good women. He was talking about that's shiza for you to be looking at too much. And watch it, my loves, even comparing yourself to my so-called love, this little big in the spiritual realm, and yes, dear ones, und wie, large chest she's proud of, or rather ashamed of, in error, and hides it all the condemned time from the camera because, dear ones, the truth is, she has been shamed and discarded by some ladies in her circles as a direct result of, yes, dear ones, jealousy of her lovely curves. So, my dears, lovely ladies listening, despite your A-cup status. And then he kind of asked, he had two sentences there. It was like, will you kick her to the curb? And then he asked, your A-cup status a problem for most dudes? Not at all, dear ones. If he truly loves you, dear one, so what? There's less to grab onto, hold on to. A man who truly loves you, dear one, will enjoy embracing all you are, sweet one. Low boob size status in your eyes or no. And just a taste, dear ones, of some of the problems she's gone through with this lovely deer in the headlights at this time, Boaz of a man who, did he at one time, or does he not rather prefer a smaller-chested woman than her? It's true, my dudes of the hour, for he's into sporty types, and well, most of y'all read the memoir, dear ones, and her skills on that score are rather hit or miss. More like miss in the last years, dear ones. Let me grab a nice book and some nice belts in the mouth, quite nicely chocolate. Yes, dear ones, a sexual reference, and a reminder for you, dear ones, that it's time, count 'em for all time, my loves, to stop all these shenanigans, stop all the shiza, my dudes of the hour. Turn that shiza off, dudes, and stop turning yourselves on for the yes. For some of you, it's absolutely true, dudes. My dudes of the hour, wrong gals. For will she Or rather be waiting in love. Okay, he didn't finish the sentence, but he was hinting that he was like, will she have a small or large chest? And he's implying, obviously, some of you will be receiving a woman with a smaller chest. Or she rather be waiting, it says, will she be rather waiting in love and respect for all you are, and yes, 1,000-year reign coming up and near, a nation or world rather, near you. For does my word not say, dear ones, that I am, Yeshua, that I am? It's true, dear ones, will rule the, count 'em, not singular, just Israel, but rather plural, dudes, nations, with a capital S. Dear ones, that Shiza you look at, and a reminder, of course, there will be no access to porn in the 1,000-year reign. All filth, emotional abuse, that's also including physical abuse, crazy trespasses on one another's psyches, egos, and hot bods, hot or not, going off on one another, online speaking, no longer allowed. I am seize you, you witch. Time to stop the shenanigans on others, dear one. Even if you're trying to prove to the demonic, you're still a bad A-word, B-word. And for what, dear one? So they won't whop you a good one. What a wonderful, and here he coughs in sarcasm, relationship you have there, lovely lady, with the possessors of your soul. And no, dear one, they won't calm down on your A-word. Stop pressuring you to kill more. Let's kill more, dear one, of I am's precious creations. Minus the deer part, of course. No, dear one, and no need to be a deer in the headlights on this one, babe. Be my babe someday and realize, lovely dark lady, it will never, and I am means never, stop this side of reality. Do you want that dark heart to turn light like her stupid in your view video references? Okay, well, I leave off that subject for now, dear ones. And let's do it to it, but not each other in error, my dear ones, especially if you're not married. And no, sweethearts, to ask your burning question before the great I am. Error, my sons and daughters of the hour. You are in some serious error and hot water with the great I am to think this little filly has been doing this dude in her thoughts. For clean, dear ones, she's been cleansed of all sexual filth in the spiritual realm this year. And yes, dear ones, part of the tough shiza leveling up for her to handle, tough shiza for her to handle, stopping all this shiza flow in her brain of, don't think any more bad thoughts about yourself, hun. That hot mama bod, God forbid, his hot bod. Yes, dear ones, he has a hot bod, albeit a bit short. Love, dear ones, it's about love, and a sweet love story for these two mofos, but not at all, dear ones, more like lovebirds, in the cutest way possible for I am, and yes, dear ones, the angels to witness in this hour. There she is, he thinks, at times, looking sad again, but will I rather, chat up this sweet mama filly today and get things rolling for us. He wonders all the time. On I am's righteous, dear ones, this dude and this story are righteous. I am reminds you, my loves. So kill it, dear ones, in the spiritual realm at this time, by not killing my dove or her future beau, with words to kill, or looks to kill, he said. And that was the end of that message for the audience. And just a tip, if y'all haven't done like basic Bible studies before, if the Lord repeats a word, then it means it's important. It's also a poetic device, but also can mean something's important. So the end of this one said, ciao, ciao, Bella, and I perceived him blowing a kiss. Remember, if you devote your heart to him and stretch out your hands to him, if you put away the sin that's in your hand and allow no evil to dwell in your tent, then you will lift up your face without shame. You will stand firm and without fear. You will surely forget your trouble, recalling it only as water under the bridge. Life will be brighter than noonday, and darkness will become like morning. You will be secure because there is hope. You will look about you and take your rest in safety. You will lie down with no one to make you afraid, and many will court your favor. God bless.